All right, what is going on, everybody? Eric here, Travel and Trading. So just wanted to make this quick video here just to kind of touch up on some things that are happened so far in the market. It was April 26th, it's Tuesday. Normally I would want to recap probably like within the towards the end of the month, but it was been too much going on the last 2 days for me not to kind of touch on everything. So I figured I'd just go ahead and knock it out while I have time. Plus the rest of my week is gonna be pretty busy. So I probably wouldn't have time to do a quick video on here, but I wanted to do it now because we had a few questions in the chat room that I wanted to go over. And I just wanted to kind of cover some of the trades because some of you asked me to do that as well too, since I haven't done it in like a week or so. But I've been posting them in the group for you to see, but I just want to kind of dive in a little bit more detail here for you, and then we'll go over the questions and I'll just give you guys some little things to kind of touch up on as you're, trading and what like that. So let's just kind of go ahead and get into it. What I wanted to first touch on here, let me get rid of these Bollinger Bands. What I wanted to first cover real quick here was the watch list. Just these last 2 days alone, it was kind of like easy money, really. So let's just kind of go over them real quick, and then we'll get into the good stuff, the day trades that we did here. And then I'll touch on the questions, okay? So let's just first take a look at the swing trade watch list, all right? So you can see here, this is April 24th. Market opens up, April 25th, which was yesterday because it's Tuesday. And we put, the watch list usually comes out the night before for you to look forward to in the next morning if you don't already know this. So obviously the admins put out their watch list and I put on my watch list of what I'm looking for. Sunday nights are particularly special because I put out a swing watch list that I'm looking, to trade for the week. And what I'm looking at and just my ideas and thoughts that you guys can possibly capitalize on. And then there's, the daily watch list. Okay. So if you don't really understand by now, with the swing watch list, it's not a day trade for me. It's for me to hold that position until I reach my targets, which is why in the swing trade watch list, I say, hey, I'm looking for it to pull back to this amount. And once I get in, I'm looking to take profits here and I'm going to have a stop loss here. Fairly simple, pretty straightforward. Sometimes I'll give a reason behind why I'm looking into it, what's going on with the company, and that's pretty much it. To be honest with you, that's really like the beginning steps or pretty much the full picture of a day of a trading strategy. Obviously, if you're day trading, it's going to be on a tighter scale and stuff like that. But that's just some of the little things that you need when you're coming up with a trading strategy. And of course, within your strategy, you should have a set of rules that you follow, and to each his own on how you do that. Of course, in the course, I walk you on through how to do that. But I'm just kind of giving you guys an example of planning a trade and letting it execute. And like I say, even if you don't know what stocks to look at and stuff like that, that's what the alerts are for. And learn how to do your own, due diligence and looking for your own, stocks to trade. But I still like to give you guys my ideas so you can kind of see what I'm looking at and things that might come across my lap. And if you notice, 'cause I get a lot of flack for this, some people might say, oh, you're looking at the same trades as so and so trader or so and so. I don't. They might have like the same criteria as me. Um, and I mean, I don't even follow traders like that. I only follow like three or four, maybe big ones, and I'm barely watching that stuff. But if they do happen to have like the same type of trades as me, maybe they're watching me. But if they do happen to have the same types of trades, I guarantee you we have like two different strategies of how we're approaching it and things like that. A lot of times, a lot of the popular stocks, especially things that were high volume, big range, things like that, are going to be looked at amongst a lot of traders, not just one trader in particular. But we all might be playing it a different way. And then I've heard the other side of the argument from other people. They're like, how come you're looking at trades that other traders aren't looking at on YouTube? Your trades are always hitting, but theirs aren't, vice versa. Again, it's just different strategies. This is why it's important for you to have your own stuff and to be able to develop your own stuff. And like I said, I give you guys what I'm looking at because I want to just kind of guide you into the different insights of what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. You have to make time for this. If you come into the market unprepared, you're going to be losing money. So that's why I tell you guys all the time, come prepared, come ready, and execute, stay focused, and then go on about your day. Okay. So let's just kind of go ahead and jump into the trade. So we're going to look at two swing trades I mentioned because these things pretty much already hit. And if you're following these swing trades and you're, even just kind of remotely looking at them, you should be profitable. And this is only within 2 days, okay? And usually, like I said, I like my swing trades to play out until they fully play out, or they should last, for me, no more than a week, two at the most, okay? And that's why I post it out every week. So let's take a look here. ATN, I posted it. This is the place you want to look at for 425.22, which was yesterday. ATN. It's a software company. It caught my eye because it's been down recently. It's been a down market recently, and it's broken out of its channel. That's a bearish channel to form a bullish sign. It's looking like it's going to reverse. And like I said, ideally I would like to see it pull back to about 1350 level, but that long green candle was just kind of hard to see that shorts will break through that, and that's going to be like a level of support around $14. So I wouldn't mind entering around $14 level, which is where I expect it to kind of hold its ground. And then I said I would love to long this into $16 level. If I can't, take what I can. All right. And then I said $12.50 to $12 is roughly a good stop loss for me. But I wouldn't want to hold this through earnings, which is going to be next month. Okay. So maybe 2 to 3 weeks at the most would be probably what I'd want to hold this to. And I told you guys it ended at 425. Now keep in mind, this thing, like I said, would like it to go to 1350, but I think $14 is a support level. I wouldn't be afraid of entering there. Me as a trader and the experience I have, I would potentially scale into that. But not a lot of you guys are, able to do that, but that's for another time. But that's how I'm looking at that trade. Now let's take a look at CYN. I said we've already known this to be, a recent day trade that we have because it's been alerted a while back, a couple of days. We made big money on that, right? Um, but I looked at it on a larger time frame as well too. When I said, it was holding pretty well, and it's another software company that was doing well in a red week. Last week, everyone's getting slaughtered, right? And I said I would love to catch this to the $2 range and just long it into $3 with a stop loss at $1. And at the time that I looked at it, it was $2.69. Already, it's like against me, a whole nother 30, 40 cents, right? But let's take a step back here. Even if you're doing $100 at $2, or sorry, 100 shares at $2, and you long it into $3, that's a $100 gain right there, right? Simple. I try to make that one a little easy, just because it's simple math, and a lot of you guys might get a little confused on it. But I try to make it as easy as I could there. And that's just the swing trades. Again, you hold those until they hit the targets, and then if they hit your stop loss, you get out. Okay, excuse me. And then we're gonna look at the watch list. Excuse me. I said last week was a bearish week, and I'm not marrying any stock, but I will be looking at these throughout the day. Um, Basically SKYH and KNG. Then I had these on the little back burners, kind of paying attention more to Mullen, and then not really, but kind of looking at these two. Okay. So to start off the day Monday, I already had ATN, CYN, SKYH, and Kang CANG on my radar. And of course, you guys know, but my daily watch list, those are going to stay on my watch list for the whole entire day until the volume dials out, it doesn't look good, or it's trending in a direction I'm not going to trade, then I'm not going to pay attention to anymore. But keep that in mind because now you got 4 different possible opportunities that you can bank on. And of course, if you didn't, something's wrong. We need to talk if you didn't bank on any of these. All right, let's first take a look at ATN, the swing trades, because these are trades you're not going to be paying attention to throughout the day. You're just going to go in, you're going to place your buy order at whatever limit, let it sit there, wait for it to get filled, and then you can actually do an OCO order, one cancel the other, or whatever you want to, however sophisticated order you want to do it. Then you will set your profit take at the $3 level. That's basically what you're doing in that one order, and you're doing the same thing for CYN. But let's take a look here at ATN. And now I got to go back to the 25th, which is here. Okay, let me zoom in. This is how it ended on Friday. And then come opening, come pre-market, wasn't no movement. Fine, I already expected that. It's a swing trade. I'm not expecting it to have a lot of volume, right? Sorry, my hand hurts from baseball, the game the other day, but put this on here real quick. Now, this stock pulled back. Like I said, it would show support to within the $14 level. Boom, your order should be executed right there, $14. You have plenty of time to get a $14 entry. Okay. And I said I would ideally like to ride this into $16, but don't be afraid to take, profit. Okay, so the whole day it just trended bullishly. 1450, 1470, 1480. It touched $15. However many shares you're in, you can just take profit there if you wanted to. So right now it's already in the right track. And this is just if you wanted to, you know, be greedy and, you know, wait for it to fully play out. Honestly, if I was in this trade, which I'm not, I'm just, giving you guys an idea to watch this. My money can only be spread so far. That's easy profit for you right there. And this was just a slow trend up, and I don't know what else to tell you. It's just a slow trend up, and that was it. And right now it's in a bearish territory, but the markets were red today, which isn't surprising. However, but look, it's still holding up very well at the $14 level, which I said is a good support level. Okay, and it's actually in the 14.50 level, so holding support. So it could still run to 15 or run to $16 if if you're in this trade right now, you're in the green. Should be, because you should be getting in at $14, and your stop loss should be down here. Okay, but yeah. So in my opinion, that trade, easy trade if you wanted to take profit already. Pretty simple. All right. Now let's take a look at CYN. This is one of the ones that I'm talking about here because if you played this twice, you probably could have banked on it already. So let's go to the 25th. Um, let me make sure I'm on the right date. That's today. Here we go. All right. So this is Friday. Here's pre-market. All right. Now, what did I say on that list? To wait for it to pull back to $2, right? And then ride it into 3. What did this do? Pre-market, probably low volume. I wasn't paying attention to the volume in it pre-market, but either way it goes, it pulled back to pretty much $2, 210. You know, odds and even numbers is where a lot of support is going to be at. You can usually set it a couple of cents beforehand, so you know that your order gets filled. You have plenty of time for it to pull back to the $2 level. And this is you nailing the bottom of the bottom. I mean, the bottom. So just in this one day alone, look, it ran up to the $3 level where you're supposed to take profit. I don't know what else to tell you guys. I mean, boom, nailed it from $2 to $3, from the top to the bottom. And I'm not saying like I said it in the Facebook post. Not all my plays are correct. That's why you have risk management, stop losses. But I mean, at this point, guys, it just is what it is. I mean, it doesn't get much easier than that. Now, let's say you did happen to miss this opportunity. You didn't set your stop. You didn't set your profit take, or your order just didn't get filled. What have you? Whatever. Guess what? You should still be in this trade because it never broke the level of support. I mean, it never broke below $2, but it also never hit the level of stop loss that I said it would hit. And guess what? It's been over $3 today. It went all the way up to like almost 4. I can't make this up. Like, there's a reason why I do this due diligence for you guys to make this easy for you during alerts, so you can have opportunities like this and not have to spend so much time doing all that. But you can have a quick insight of, hey, what my risk management is, what I'm willing to, risk in order to gain, provided the trade goes the way that I'm planning. And again, that's easy money. Now that's just the swing trades. You're not day trading. You're not focused on it. So had you got in at $2, $2.10, whatever you want to start of the week, you're up. You're up big time when it comes to this trade, this swing trade. Hit the nail on the head twice in just 2 days. All right. So enough about that. Let's go look back at the other one. Sorry. SKYH CANG. Let's do CANG first because it's not going to be as fun as SKYH. And again, I didn't take this trade, but had you got in it, you'd have been okay. So this pretty much was the 25th. So this was pre-market here. Did nothing much in pre-market. Opened up, it pulled back, spiked up, and then eventually came right back up because it was slow throughout the day. Notice that lately the market cycle has been like during opening bell stuff like that, things would be dead, and then come like 11 a.m. Pacific time, things will start to pick up and stocks will start to run. I don't know why that's been a notion lately, but that's just it is what it is. Now again, At any point you would enter this trade, no matter how long you held it, no matter what your strategy was at the end, guess what? You're still green. Okay, might not be as green as you might want to, but you're still green. And obviously, after this day, which is right here, you shouldn't be in this trade no more because look, volume has gotten very light. There's nothing there. You know, at this point, these are just bag holders. Okay, so again, enter, exit, however you want. You still should have came out green on that one. Now let's take a look at SKYH. Now I day traded this one. You guys can go see the results in the Facebook group that I post for you. Excuse me. Sorry, I just got through eating lunch and I gotta go do something in a second. But SKYH, this was just like unbelievably easy. So here's pre-market, right? On the 25th of April. Nothing happening. But because it's on the watch list, you should still be, having it on your back burner from the way I showed you guys how to set up your, think or swim to have multiple screens within one screen. You can still look at the patterns and take a look at this here. Now with SKYH, I got in at like a what 11. I got in like $10.86, and then I got out at like $11.85. And this one wasn't even like my best trade so far this week, but it was still a decent trade because you had opportunity. Um, and this is pretty much what it did all day. And again, my trade was over here today. So don't really know why you guys didn't take advantage of this if you didn't. Okay. Um, yeah. So you got all this and you got to alert it. Got to alert it several times. Cup and handle, cup and handle, cup and handle. I mean, there's so many different strategies you could have used here, guys. Easy profit, easy profit. Well, let's just take a look at the trade I did today. Anyways, got in at 1086. I got out like 11 something and call it a day. And the reason why I got out is because I didn't want to focus on two trades at once. I was already losing in the EVOK trade, and we'll cover that too. Um, I just wanted to kind of show you guys the examples of the watch list. So 4 for 4 out of the watch list there. Easy wins for you. Okay, done with that. Now let's talk about the day trades. So again, I got in it like right here in this area. And at this point, guys, you can kind of tell here what's happening. I'm buying at the top, but I can kind of tell that it still had room to run a little bit more, which is why I jumped in. The only thing that worried me a little bit here was this little pattern. You should know this candlestick pattern. So this kind of worried me a little bit, and I was waiting to see how much it would break through the volume weighted average price, but it didn't. It spiked back up. So that gave me a sense of confidence to stay in the trade, and which is why I ran it all the way to where it did. I was prepared to take this loss because I was already losing in EVOK, and I figured, hey, this is Tuesday. I'm just kind of starting off bad. That's fine. I didn't let my emotions get control of me. I stayed true to, sticking to the plan, respecting my rules and my targets and my stop losses, even though I entered in at a high point of the trade, which was like right here, I was okay with the risk to reward ratio because I told myself, hey, if it breaks through the volume weighted average price, the market's red. I know if it breaks through that, this is going to probably stay, a bearish, trade, and I'm okay with taking that loss. But it's fine. Luckily, my risk reward management was tight. The stock played out like I thought it did, looking at level two, and it still shot up. And, the trade went the way I thought. Even though the squeeze pro was lighting up, and so was the moving average convergence divergence, the price action was still moving up. And this is why level two was important because you could still see, hey, their buyers still coming in and stepping in. That's great. So I'm like, okay, they're stepping in. It's time for me to step out. I got my money. I got in at a good spot. And of course, I know that the, you know, buying and selling is about to turn over and the sellers are going to start to come in and get their orders executed. So it's time for me to get out. And I got out at 1186 and had a good little $1,100 profit there. Um, so that's fine. And look, that's good that I did that because once the bears came in and the bearish market took over and, you know, the bears just kind of won the rest. Um, that's pretty much how that happened. And that's pretty much it for the rest of the day. So that's my SKYH trade. Now let's take a quick look at the EVOK because I got to go soon. And we also got to talk about those questions. Now EVOK, I got sucked into this one. So like I told you guys, I mean, hey, players mess up. This was the leading percentage gainer, had a lot of volume. It looked good in pre-market. And you guys know me, I don't really like to hold things during pre-market, but I kind of broke my rules here and I jumped in like early pre-market. I got in at like $1.30 something. I got in at a bad point, Like I got in like right here before the bell. This is how I knew where I messed up. Why? I don't know why I got in right before the bell. That's just me honestly being greedy and cocky, and that's just dumb. I really never do that. But I got in right before the bell. Opening bell happened. This thing tanked. I didn't wait for it to form no kind of pattern. Um, just a second. Alexa, stop. That's my timer, guys. I gotta go. But no. Uh, anyway, so I didn't wait for any kind of pattern to form here. That was kind of my big mistake here. It was still trying to set itself up. I didn't wait for, I should have waited and entered in like right in this area. If I was going to enter in, I should have been paying attention to this point in time. But I didn't. I just jumped the gun, hoping it was going to run. I didn't really plan it out. And of course, it sank. The only good thing I did about this trade was I cut my loss quickly when I recognized that it wasn't going my way because it crossed, the volume. It pretty much kind of gave you like a death signal. It fell below the exponential moving average and it fell below the volume weighted average price. The market's already red. I knew that it was time to get out because short sellers were looking at this. One, because this thing was the leading gainer this morning. So all the short sellers got their eyes on this, like, hey, this is easy money. That stock's got to go down. So they're going to come in and drill it down. And that's exactly what they did. They kept pushing it down. But you have some buyers who were trying to push it back up and it wasn't happening. Um, and again, 9 times out of 10, the stocks follow the market. So I'm like, hey, let me go ahead and cut my loss here. I'll take a $340 loss because I also have an $1,100 gain. I'll net 800. That's perfectly fine. And that's pretty much it. Which I'm glad I did stick to my guns and stick to my rules because I saved myself a world of headache. This thing is probably going to die down back to where it originally was. But lesson learned. Stop breaking my rules, right? Pretty simple. All right, that's EVOK. Let's take a quick look here at NUTX, which was like the banger for today. Okay, let me pull this up here. NUTX. And this, you guys see me like what I had posted on in the Facebook group and I posted it in the chat room was like, I'm just gonna wait for another trade to come out. I'm positive I'm green today with SKYH. I was okay to walk away, but I felt like, hey, there could be something else going on in the market today. Not much movement. Everybody's, coming off the high of, Elon Musk buying Twitter and then, Tesla's being down and stuff like that. Bulls are hiding somewhere, So I figured I'd just, chill out and wait for the little bit afternoon and then jump into a trade then to see what's moving. Now, remind you, with NUTX, I didn't get into this thing until like 8:54. We got alerted of NUTX at like $7 and change. Let me go back all the way back to the beginning of where we're at today. Okay. So I mean, JZXN was a good trade for some of you guys. EVOK for some of you who did profit. I know some of you guys did short that, so congrats to you if you did. That's smart trading right there. You stick to your guns, stick to your trades, and you're profiting. Now let's take a look at NUTX. The only reason why this one caught my eyes is because of, you know, the statistics on it. I was like, okay, I might be able to do something here if it stays moving. So we got indication of a halt on it at $6.50, which was like right down here. So obviously I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, that's great. NUTX looks good. And then I'm wondering, like, hey, okay, well, what are the stats are? Free float, 314 million. I'm like, that's kind of a bit, right? So obviously it needs to have a lot of volume for me to want to come in and, jump into this trade. Now, at the moment I pulled it up, it had a lot of green tape coming through. So that was kind of an indication that buyers were stepping in. Now, keep in mind, you always want to look left, right? So let's take a quick look here. And even the admins were telling you guys, like, hey, this thing has fell off of from $50. Like, look how much of a fall this thing has had. And this was recently. So you got to keep in mind that you have sellers who are trying, who may have bought here, 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 and here, who want to get out of their trade because they're, bag holding, right? So that was another thing that you guys probably didn't catch or maybe did catch that the admin was saying, like, hey, be cautious as this thing is running up off of nothing. Traders are going to be trying to dump this who's bag holding, okay? And because you're probably a bag holder yourself, you'd be in the same position, right? So it's good to kind of know that psychological, aspect of trading. So that's why you could be real cautious. And that's why when I got in at my 850 level, which was pretty much at like this pullback, like I think it was like after the first halt, I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe I can get something. And my strategy on this one was only to get like maybe a little bit. It wasn't to get much because the market was red. I was already, I'm already green. I don't need to be greedy here. However, and so, at this point, because of the point that where I entered right here on my volume weighted average price point, what did I do? I did my VWAP strategy. Those of you who have my course know what my VWAP strategy is. So I got in, let this thing ran, the support held on the volume weighted average price, and that was just all she wrote. There was no reason for me to get out this trade because I'm already green and it's just going to keep going. And so I just let it run, let it run, let it run until the point to where it got to like 11, what was it? I got out like $13 I had got out because I'm like, this is getting a little ridiculous and I'm not, going to be greedy. So I got out almost near the top. And this was a $7,500, $7,600 gain for me. 500 shares in, 500 shares out. Simple enough. That was the trade. Again, just me doing the VWAP strategy based off of a stock that's moving off of momentum. And all I did is measure my risk accordingly. That's the thing with me and my trades, guys. I'm not doing nothing special trading strategy wise other than anything that I, made up. What's making me successful, what makes me successful is my risk to reward management within my trading style and trading strategies. That's what makes me profitable. There's no secret, and anybody can do this based on their trading strategy. You just have to understand your strategy and your personality and how you trade, and just find the right stocks that move the way that fits the way you trade. That's all. And it's a good thing I got out of here because look, pulled back, pulled back, pulled back, pulled back, pulled back, pulled back. Now it's in bearish territory. It's actually following the market, and it dropped. So even if I, would have waited till like the very end to get out, I still would have been, pretty decent if I'd have waited till, the volume weighted average price pulled out because I'd be up like 100, a whole dollar amount. So, but again, it was a big stretch. So I just, went ahead and took the money. It could have ran to 20. I would have been like, yeah, crap, I missed a lot. But at the same time, I gained a lot. $7,000 in one day for what, an hour and change or less than an hour is not something to be upset about. Because guess what? Tomorrow's another day. The market is not going anywhere. If this is your job, you understand, like imagine you going to work one day and then coming back and that job not be there. That would only happen if you don't do your job right. So don't be greedy. The market will always be there. And this is your job. If you just, do your job, do it correctly, you can come back tomorrow and make some more money. Look at it like that. All right. So just wanted to cover those trades with you guys real quick. Again, this is just Tuesday. Hopefully that helps. Real quick here, we're going to jump into, me answering these questions, and I'll go over this with you guys. I know Marcus, Sally, Greg, who else? I think Chris had a question. Some of you guys had questions, so, stay the rest of this video. I'll cover this here with you after I go do what I got to do, and I'll post it here on the YouTube channel. I was going to just put it in the group for you guys, but I just figured I'd just, answer questions and just put it on the YouTube for everyone to see. But obviously later on in the week, I'll go through questions with you guys in the chat room and stuff like that, and we'll go over that stuff if you have any. And I'll try to go through the questions in the email for you guys that are emailing me. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Hopefully you're having a green day. I'm not traveling this week. I'm going to be at home because I got some games. But if you are going out, be safe. Stay green. All right. Take care, guys. All right, guys, what's going on? Eric here. So I wanted to do this little quick segment here just to kind of go over a few questions that some of you guys sometimes have, or some that you have in the chat room today, and just in general. Hopefully this will help out a lot of you and not just, one or two of you, because, sometimes other people might have the same question but just won't ask it, kind of thing. So hopefully this will address, some of the questions for you that you may have, okay? So I'll just kind of go off a few questions. This won't take long. Just run through like 2 or 3 questions, and then, we'll wrap up this video here, okay? So one of the first questions I believe Marcus had asked me, because he's new to the chat room and things like that and new to trading. He was asking, how does he know what stocks to pick? Well, the type of stock that you're going to pick to trade, honestly, is going to be based on your trading strategy. Okay. Not every trading
strategy will fit every single trade. Okay, like for example, today the guys you see me take with NUTX, I would not never trade a stock like Tesla or something like that with it. Okay. Now keep in mind, the stocks that are in the alerts and chat rooms, are typically, smaller cap stocks that have big, percentage gains. So they can, they're usually like $20 or less, obviously until they run, beyond that. So they're big percentage, small cap stocks. So they have the ability to move a lot more than larger cap stocks like Microsoft, Apple, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So you got to keep that in mind when you're deciding what stocks to trade. They won't trade like the normal stocks, big name companies that you might see. They have faster momentum, faster price changes, and, lower frequency depending on, the type of stocks that it is. So when it comes to deciding what stock to pick, make sure your trading strategy that you have can fit it. Now, if you don't have a trading strategy, I suggest you start to come up with one. And that's really, as a trader, gonna be your bread and butter for trading on a day-to-day basis, okay? So how do you choose a stock? Basically, make sure the stock fits your criteria, your trading strategy. That's like the most general overall answer I can give you without going into detail. Like for me, example, you'll see a lot of times, like in this video, even instantly, where a stock might be alerted. What I'm gonna typically do is look at a few things. I need to find, if there's a catalyst, if there's a reason for it to trade, if it's fitting the criteria of movement that I need, meaning, for example, does it have a lot of volume? Does it have, a low float? Things like that. If the stock doesn't really have that, or is it between, $1 to $2? I might not pay a stock that's below $1. It's little things like that. And until you gain more experience in the market, you won't know what's, best fit for you, unless you got your trading strategy down to a T. That comes along with a little bit of experience. But try first developing your strategy and then seeing what stocks and certain criteria fit that strategy when your trade is going great, and even see which ones, are not fitting it when it's going wrong. And just because, the trade itself didn't go your way doesn't mean that stock doesn't fit that criteria, okay? But like I said, I pick out my stocks based on knowing that, hey, this is my trading strategy. If the stock will fit this trading strategy and this setup shows, then I'm gonna trade it. Let me give you an example. For today with NUTZ, if you guys seen, when I talked about it, the stock, it shot up, it pulled back, and then it kept running.
All right, guys, we're back. My bad. Sorry about that. The recording device just shut off. Apparently, I had, too much memory for it to keep going. Probably from recording all the other stuff for the chat room and courses and whatnot. But anyways, we're back at it. I'm gonna just do it here on the screen. Actually, this might be better for you as well, so you can kind of visually see it much better than me probably drawing it freehand with my sloppy drawing. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and touch back on to what we were talking about. Basically, we're trying to decide, how do you know which stocks to trade? And I was just going to give you an example of how, I did NUTZ or NUTX today, and just kind of walk you through like what I mean by making sure the stock that you pick fits your trading strategy. So if you have the alerts in the chat room and you've seen that video that I've posted on how I trade the alerts and how I pick my stocks, I actually, walk you through that whole process and stuff like that as well too. So remember, we're getting alerts consistently throughout the day. Sometimes it's a lot, sometimes it's a little. Now, at the time we're getting the alerts, usually when we get the first one, the first thing I'm doing, like I said, is pulling it up to see if the stock itself is going to fit my trading strategy. And what I mean by that is my trading strategies that I have like, a few different ones that I teach you guys in the course and stuff like that, that I do. And, there's certain things that I look for, certain patterns, certain indicators, and I'm going to kind of show you a quick example here with this one on what made me decide to choose that over the other ones. But let's start from scratch from the beginning. Let's say you're like, okay, you're getting the alerts, they're coming through one after the other, after the other, after the other. Here's what's happening for me on my end. I'm typing that stock in on my, trading platform, and you can see here with Thinkorswim that I have like 9 different charts, and they're all different, shades, fats, different, styles and stuff like that. It's not very detailed as my trading view chart or my what would be on my broker chart with Webull, because this is just for me to gauge exactly that question. Which stock will I pick? Now, for the stocks that I pick, and obviously this is moving right now because it's still after hours that I'm doing this recording, but the stocks that I pick, they have to meet a certain setup before I decide to enter the trade on based on whatever trading strategy that I'm using. Let's just say one of my trading strategies calls for it, for a stock to be, you know, like breaking new highs and forming a pattern like this because I like those patterns. That's my favorite patterns. I'm not saying this is how you need to do your trading strategy. I'm just giving you an example of just one randomly, and this isn't even all the details. Okay, this is just giving you a general consensus so you can develop your own. No need to copy me because mine is not going to fit your trading personality. Because even though I have a trading strategy, I don't enter and exit it the same way all the time. It varies depending on the market. All right. Now, but this is a general overall census. So let's say NUTZ gets alerted, right? I'm looking at that. So is EVOK. These two are perfect examples because these are the two trades that I took today, and one I did good on and one I did bad on. The difference between the two is that one was doing a setup that I was looking for, and the other one didn't, which caused me to cut one and keep the other. Okay. And I'm not saying you need to be doing two trades at all at once. Again, like I told you guys earlier, I jumped the gun on one of them because I didn't follow my rules of my trading strategy. And I was actually trying to do the same trading strategy for both of them. And I could have did it for any of the other ones, but the only one that showed me promise was NUTZ. It looked better than all the other ones that were being alerted today. And obviously, I'm not going to pay attention to like ATN or CYN. It's just on my back burner because it was a swing trade, And this is Tuesday, so that's fine. Just wanted to kind of watch it. But then you had other alerts like BRQS was being alerted. You had NKTX being alerted, especially from yesterday. SKYH and other ones that were going on. So I'm typing these in as they're coming in through the alert system. Like, hey, look at the stop because it might do a setup that might fit your trading criteria. Just so happened to be NUTZ had the perfect setup that I needed. And let me walk you through why I chose that one over the same time that I was looking at EVOK. So we got alerted to it early, right? Now it did a pullback. It spiked up, pulled back down to the VWAP, right? Now again, what I was trying to explain to you guys before the video was cut off before that, when I was looking at this trade today, the way the market was, it kind of fit my trading strategy to do one of my strategies that I call the VWAP strategy. And I'm just going to kind of briefly go over it to you. Of course, those of you who have the course, you know exactly what I mean when I'm going through this, so it should be no problem. But for those of you who don't, I'm going to just try to briefly explain it as quickly as I can. Okay. So, I mean, I've covered this a couple times too in other videos to a certain extent, almost that I'm about to do it here, but you kind of get the gist. So the stock spiked up, pulled back. That was a little bit of a dip right there for you to buy it in. And then it continued to go, right? Now the moving average is pulling back and establishing new support. One, two. This right here is showing my setup. From this point here on, if the moving average is moving over, up and down, I'm getting a good level of support and a good level of resistance. All right. So at this time, while it's on my radar here, that's interesting to me because why this is a bullish pattern. All right. You can go take your time and look up chart patterns and study and see which one this is showing. This is why I did videos on chart patterns. And this is why you guys were in the course, had to sit through all those chart patterns because you need to identify that. So I know that's fine. So now that I see that chart pattern here after two moves of the moving average convergence divergence, then I'm going to kind of keep that on my radar as opposed to, well, I'm in this trade. This thing is just tanking and tanking and tanking. And I'm in both of them. So I'm watching this one more than I'm watching the other one. I'm watching EVOK more than I'm watching this one because this one's going my way and this one isn't. So I'm deciding to cut my loss here because at this point, at the same time that I'm in both of these trades, this one's not going the way I want. I'm not willing to hold out to this. I'll wait till another bullish setup comes. And again, NUTZ is right there, and I'm not even in it yet. I'm just saying that's if I was in it. That's how it would be. But so it does a little step pullback, establishes the support. I know the support is here at the VWAP. Okay, that's part of one of my trading strategies to see a little level of support. I need to see another breakout. What happens here? Boom, it breaks a new high. Okay, and this is at 875. Remind you that I got in this thing, at a good time before it took off. Okay, so once it had shot up here. Let me pull it up here. Let me zoom in. All right, so once it pulled up here, established new support, then it has a new break. Now at this time, I need me a bullish signal to tell me to get in. Now remember, guys, I got in at like 850-ish, whatever. It's on the Facebook post. But basically, I got in during this green candle. Why? Because I needed to see a bullish sign to continue to go. I'm pretty much hitting a nail on the head. Got my levels of support and resistance from the moving average convergence divergence. It's in the bullish territory. Now I need a bullish sign to enter. If you know if you know your candlesticks, you would have seen why I chosen to pick, to get in at this point. From, all this right here was telling me to get in. Easy flagpole. Okay. The pullback on it was very, very light. All right. Um, Again, go study your candlestick. So pretty much I'm eyeing this breakout. It broke out perfect. Now I know a pullback has got to come. These candlesticks are showing me that there's a little bit of resistance, a little bit of resistance. Now it's showing some more support, some more support. All this is bullish because one, it's above the VWAP. The price action is above the exponential moving average. That's bullish sign. And I'm getting good green candles, and I got another green one here. So at this point, once this green candle hit, boom, I jump in the trade because I'm willing to do my risk to reward here. Like if it breaks down between the volume weighted average price, I'm gonna get out. But anyways, I enter in there and I just let it ride. I'm watching it, making sure it's staying above the exponential moving average, and it did this whole time. And at this point, there's no reason for me to get out. Still in bullish territory. I'm willing to risk that. And that's pretty much how it played out. And of course, the rest is all she wrote. I took profit. Anyways, do you see why I chose this stock versus the other one? Because it fit the criteria that I needed. All right. It had the setup there, first of all. First and foremost, the setup was there. That's the very first thing I look for. Is there a bullish pattern? The stock fits my stat criteria. It's just part of my trading strategy, but does it fit everything else? And as it starts to develop, look for my entries, look for my exits. That's it. The rest of these did not fit any of that. All those other alerts did not fit any of that. But it fitted for other traders. Some of the other traders jumped into you know, JZSN, and profited. That's fine. That's your trading strategy. That works for you, you know? So, in order to decide what you're going to pick, have a trading strategy. All right. Now, another quick question was asked. I think Chris had asked, he was, saying this is his first time. He's nervous about trading. And he also asked which indicator to use. So I'm going to address both of those right now pretty easily. So first and foremost, if you're nervous about a trade, it's usually for two reasons. One, I mean, obviously you're new, so that's gonna happen. Nerves are gonna happen because no one likes losing money. But understand this: you're going to lose money. Okay? You cannot do this if you are afraid of losing money. If you're trading with hard-earned money, don't trade. If you're trading with your savings, don't trade. If the money you went and traded with in your account disappeared and you'd be devastated, never recovered, do not trade. I'm just gonna point blank tell you that period. Okay? I know it sounds kind of harsh, but unfortunately that is the reality of the situation. Especially if you're new. More than likely, you're going to blow up your account. And unfortunately, that's part of the learning experience. If you ever meet a trader who's never blown up their account, you never met a real trader. I'm sorry. I don't think so, anyways. Um, so, if you to kind of shake the nerves, first and foremost, you're probably not confident in your trading strategy or don't have one. That's why you're nervous because you're afraid you're going to lose the money. But let's say if you're like, Eric, I do have a trading strategy. I'm just pure nervous. Well, here's what you do. Obviously, you should be paper trading first, testing out, building up your confidence. You're like, okay, yeah, my trading strategy works. My trading strategy works. Then you're gonna get into it. And you're like, oh, okay, now does my trading strategy work? This is real time, real market. Now your emotions are starting to kick in. Okay, here's what you need to do. More than likely, you're gonna be trading with you're gonna try to start out trading with like maybe 500 shares, 1,000 shares, whatever. Don't do that. Don't even trade with 100 shares. Don't trade with 50 shares. Don't even trade with 10 shares. Trade with one share. If you're nervous about your trading strategy, you're nervous about trading, you think you're okay with picking out stuff, you think you have a good strategy, test it out. Try it with one trade. You'll probably be less heartbroken if you were to lose $2 than you were to lose $20. Maybe you're okay with losing $20. Are you okay with losing $40? Are you okay with losing $50 on one trade? Ask yourself this. Don't worry about the profit. Ask yourself this. If the trade that I take happens to go to zero, would I be okay with losing that money? Then that'll help you decide how many shares you're going to want to trade with, and you'll be less nervous. Trust me. Okay. So do that first. If you're nervous about your first trade, make sure you first and foremost have a trading strategy. If you don't have a trading strategy, go develop one. I taught you guys in the course how to develop a trading strategy. I even go over what mines are, and I tell you to develop your own because you're not going to be able to trade like me. You shouldn't be following any traders anyway. But have a trading strategy. Now this is what you do. Now that you got it, paper trade it. Now that you paper trade it, Do it with one share. Do it again with two shares. Do it again with three shares. Then do it again with 10 shares. Do it again with 15, 20, and so on and so on. Because eventually it's going to come to a point where you're going to be like, okay, you know what? That's probably a little bit too much to risk. I'm afraid of losing 150 bucks. Let me scale back. Now you're going to go back to trading, trade 10 shares for a while till that account builds up. Trade, 7 shares for a while till that account builds up. That's what you need to do. That will shake your nerves because at that point, once you start consistently doing it, you're going to feel much more better about the trades and your nerves are going to go away. Now, let's say it goes the opposite way and your trades keep going wrong. You keep, you're losing money. Clearly, you need to change you either need to change your strategy or there's something you need to tweak that's not allowing you to profit from what you're doing. So in that case, that's fine. Yeah, you lost a little bit of money, but again, that comes with the territory. But you've only lost $7 as opposed to $700 trying to be 100, trying to get 100 shares and make this thing go to the moon. Pretend again, understand this, guys. This is your job. Okay. Imagine if you were to go to work one day and you're aiming for the moon, and now you know, now you're done. You don't want that. You want to be able to come into work every day and make money, right? So you need to be trading with what you're okay with willing to lose so that you could come into the next day and be willing to trade. All right. Or have the ability to trade. You live to trade another day. So stop trying to shoot for the moon, shoot for base hits, and you start by doing it one share at a time. All right. And it'll grow from there. So that will kill your nerves. All right. Now, as far as indicators, what do you use for your indicators? I did an all indicators video for you guys. Um, Again, Chris, I'm not sure if you have the course or not, but if you do, look at the all indicators video. It is 5 hours long. If you don't have it, that's fine. I mean, again, you don't need the course. But if you don't have the course, go look at the all indicator videos I have on the YouTube channel. I'll put the link in this video actually, so you can have it. Look at that video and kind of look at some of the indicators I go over. It's like 30 minutes long. It's like 30 minutes of the 5 hours long that I cover the different indicators that are there. There's over 300 and something indicators, my friend. There is a lot of indicators out there, and they all can be utilized different ways. My suggestion to you, as far as deciding what indicators to use, pick ones that you are either comfortable with when you're looking at it and can decipher information from it, or just pick ones that, are going to be more fitting for your trading personality, okay? Because you can have two traders using the same indicator, and guess what? They'll come out with different results from different strategies, all right? Um, Let me see if I can pull it up here. Let me give you an example. So you guys see here, not like, as a matter of fact, the other day I did a video on the Fibonacci indicators, right? I don't trade Fibonacci, okay? It's nothing wrong with it. It's a great tool. Traders use it all the time. I just don't use it because it doesn't fit my trading style. That's just me. There are plenty of traders who, in fact, in our chat room, who trade with it and do very, very well. Um, it just doesn't fit me as a trader. So deciding what indicator is going to use is just going to be honestly trial and error, and you're going to find out which ones fit your trading personality. And I go over the trading personalities and stuff like that with you guys in the advanced trading course. But just for time's sake, understand that you need to try out every single indicator that there is. So you don't want to have too many though. I usually tell traders in between 1 to 5 is okay. As you can see here with me, I have the EMA, the volume weighted average price, MACD, relative strength index, and the squeeze pro indicator. Every now and then you'll see me with different ones like volume weighted, um, the volume price bars, and there's just different things like that. But there are other traders who you might use things like Bollinger Bands. I just actually had this up a second ago. There's bull power, bear power. I mean, there's so many different indicators out there, my friend. See? Let me close it out. So some traders might utilize that. Let me close this one out. How the Bollinger Bands look better. There you go. So, for example, with Bollinger Bands, if you've seen that video that I did on there, some traders might use this to their strategy. They might wait for a squeeze to happen. They might wait for, the price action to go outside the Bollinger Bands and then short it, or wait for it to come down and then long it, vice versa. Then there's traders who might use, Fibonacci. There's traders who might use simple moving averages. There's traders who might use, just the super trend indicators. It is so many indicators that are out there, my friend. So as far as which ones to use, there is no right or wrong answer. Remember, trading is a game of odds. The more odds you are right than you are wrong, obviously the better. And of course, the longer you'll last in the game. And each indicator will have its odds. You just got to find which one fits you and your trading personality that you read the best. Okay. So yeah, so just go back and look at those videos, decide which one you like, and just test them out. I suggest you paper trade with those too. So kind of in between both. If you don't know what indicators are used, and some traders don't use indicators at all. Like people who scalp, they don't really need. You need maybe like one or two indicators when you're a scalp trader. But scalping takes very, is very tedious. It takes a lot of experience, and it's just a lot. It's a more advanced thing. I don't recommend scalping for anybody new. Some traders kind of take to scalping with, like a fish take to water. But for the most part, in the long run, people who scalp don't last. Okay, so if you're new, don't be doing that. I suggest you start, with bigger stocks and trending stocks and focus on, things like that. So just to answer your question, use use indicators, find indicators that you might like. Look at that all indicators video. Start putting two together. I say at least have, one indicator for on chart and one for have one isolator for, sub chart, and just kind of play with some stuff in between there, and then see which ones you can read the best and formulate a strategy from. You'll be less nervous about your trading because at this point you have a trading strategy. And once you have a trading strategy, you just look for it. Look for the setup that you want to trade. All right. In your, you know, in the alerts or however you want, and just kind of go from there. All right. So guys, I hope that kind of wraps, up the questions and just kind of addresses a little bit. Hopefully this video was a little bit helpful. Sorry if it was too long. I just tried to cover as much as I could for you guys in a little bit amount of time, but I do have to actually go myself. So hang in there, stay green, keep learning, guys. There's a lot of stuff in there. Again, like this video, leave me a comment below if you have any questions. Message me, email me. I'll answer them as quickly as I can. I'll go over as much as I can with you. If you're fresh and new to this, guys, honestly, I do recommend getting the course. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but it just helps lays out everything for you from beginning to end. Instead of you asking all these questions here and there, you're going to get confused and it'll take a long time to put this stuff together. Trust me, it took me a minimum at least 4 to 5 years just to put this stuff together. Whereas if somebody would have just laid it out for me in a concise format, I could have just known from A to Z what to do and developed it my own. And that's exactly what I try to teach you in that course. So you don't have to be scrambling all over the internet, reading stuff that's pushed out to you by algorithms. You know exactly what's in, what's out of people who trade on a daily basis and what we do to do this. All right. So, you guys stay green. Let's get ready for tomorrow. I'll see you again.